Alright, so here we are at the Glitz Pit, where we pit the three of us against each other in a quest to see who can earn the most star points. It's a fun little podcasting game segment where you, listeners, decide the winner, and we're hedging our bets on starter Pokémon this week. Last time we held the Glitz Pit, we debated who Nintendo's best couple is, and with an astounding 118 star points, I reigned victorious for arguing in favor of Wario and Waluigi. So, Alex, the championship is now mine, and I shall defend it with great honor as we compete for the third title. So this time around, the idea is, if there were a massive battle royale between all the final evolutions of starter Pokemon, who would reign supreme? We don't want this to turn into a discussion about the actual Pokemon metagame, because
I do a little bit.
At that point, why not just actually battle them?
Let's do it.
So we're ignoring stuff like stat calculations and the 4-move limit and things like that, and we're going by more interpretive information, like the Pokemon's biology, what the Pokedex says about them, the moves that they can learn, rather than just a 4-move limit. It's more like anime rules than game rules. So we've got 10 minutes on the clock. We each get 90 seconds to make our opening statements, and the remaining 5+ minutes are all for debate. At the end, we'll go around and say how many star points out of 10 that we think each person deserves, but afterwards, it is up to you, dear listeners, to decide the winner. We'll be launching a Twitter poll where each vote counts as a star point, and whoever's got the most by the time the poll closes will be officially declared the new champion of the Glitz Pit. Are you ready to rock?
Oh yeah.
All right. Alex, go!
So, my pick is, well, and this will probably surprise a lot of you, it's Torterra.
Okay.
You may think, oh, but Torterra doesn't seem like he's that good a fighter, but what Torterra is really good at is outlasting everyone else. Just like real turtles, who outlast every other living creature that you can think of. So, and not only that, but, you know, he is a turtle, but he's also he has extra endurance because he's also a continent. I don't think in a sort of real-world battle scenario, any Pokemon will be able to fell a continent. I think he would be able to withstand pretty much anything that's thrown at him, and the other Pokemon would just get tired out, and at which point he can drop the wood hammer on them.
Okay.
And he is pretty strong in his own right. He does learn some pretty powerful moves like Earthquake and Leaf Storm, and like I said, Wood Hammer. He can learn Superpower, the fighting type move. And his stats are pretty decent as well. So he's no lightweight, but at the same time, his real strength comes in being able to outlast them, not necessarily overpower them.
Okay. Is that it? Because you got 15 more seconds if you want them. Otherwise, we can move to Ben.
I mean, Torterra is a slow and steady guy, so he's
all right.
He doesn't need the extra 15 seconds.
Okay, Ben, go ahead.
All right, I am going with Charizard.
All right.
The original awesome starter. So, Charizard has great stats, he has great access to moves, both physical and special, and he can make use of both of those because he has 2 different Mega Evolutions. He's the only starter Pokemon that has that. In fact, he's outside of Mewtwo, he's the only Pokemon that has that. So you can...
Yeah, but who's the trainer? Can he even Mega Evolve in this?
Yeah, I'm his trainer.
You have to think this through.
So I can slap an X Stone on him, and he gets huge physical buffs, becomes a Dragon type, and can do all kinds of crazy physical damage. I can slap a Y Stone on him, and it powers up all the special moves. You can only use one, though. What's that?
You can only use one.
Yeah, but you don't know which one I'm going to use. Going into the battle, do I get to make my opening statement so you can argue?
Okay, go ahead.
So, going into the battle, he could have either one. You don't know what to prepare for. Okay. You don't know what moves he's throwing. You don't know if he's going to hit you with physical or special. He can fly. Did I mention he's a dragon? Because he's a dragon. And he has access to all kinds of extremely powerful moves. He has an extremely wide move pool. He's super effective against just about everything you can think of. So, Charizard is my pick.
All right. So, my pick is Feraligatr. It is the big jaw Pokemon. It's got a super powerful bite, so any Pokemon without a big defensive body is just going to get ripped apart by his teeth and his savage friggin' thrashing around. It's a pure water type, which means not a lot of type weaknesses. And it's a crocodile, so it's got some pretty mean scales for defense. So it's really only the physical blows that are going to threaten it all that much. Stuff like fire coming at it is going to sort of brush off on the scales. And but so all that stuff, all the fire Pokemon, they're all gone. It can learn Ice Fang to use its jaws and wreck the fleshier grass types like Venusaur and Sceptile, plus Torterra, grass and ground. That's out of there. It's not going to survive that, especially if you got all the other water-type Pokemon with their ice moves. Feraligatr can learn Superpower, a great fighting move to wreck Empoleon, get the Steel type out of the way. So its worthy foes, I think, are Blastoise, Samurott, and Chestnut. Now, I'm not concerned about those two water types because Feraligatr is fast. All its Pokedex entries talk about its blinding speed and stuff like that. So it can evade the devastating kinds of grass moves that would take Pokemon like Blastoise and Samurott out earlier on. And I would hope that Charizard can pick Chestnut off early with a flying move, but for the sake of argument, if it can't, Feraligatr can learn Aerial Ace, so Chestnut has a lot to fear between that and Ice Fang. And that is my opening statements. We got the next 5 minutes for debates.
First punch?
I'm gonna go first punch for you, Ben. Charizard is fire flying. It's gonna get taken out by a rock move before it even has the chance to Mega Evolve. Especially if it's Mega Evolved into the Y form.
Oh, I don't think it'll take it that long to Mega Evolve, and once it does, it becomes Fire Dragon, instantly loses its weakness to water.
But it gains weaknesses to Fairy? Are you kidding me? Fairy?
It doesn't gain a weakness to Fairy, it takes neutral from Fairy.
Does Fairy do half damage against fire?
Yep.
Really? I have to look up a Pokemon type chart. I don't...
But
really?
then he loses his flying, and so Torterra can take him out with a ground move.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, but Torterra is significantly slower than Charizard, and Charizard is packing every fire move you could possibly think of, which is double effective.
No, it's normal effective because Torterra is half ground.
Torterra is also a ground type.
And Charizard.
I'm looking at Torterra's page right now, and it's weak to fire.
Forms are not that strong defensively. So
Torterra is weak to fire. Ground does not resist fire.
Doesn't it?
Nope, takes neutral.
All right. Well,
either way, Torterra's got intense defense and pretty decent HP.
I think definitely Torterra can take Charizard X out with an Earthquake and stuff like that. It's throwing, because remember, this is a battle royale. It's not just pitting one against the other. You got to think about which Pokemon are going to be picked off first, and I think Charizard's definitely one of those first to go.
All right, well, I can switch strategies, and instead of an X, I'll come at you with a Y Stone. That makes Sunny Day activate, which also erases its water weakness, and it gives an instant Solar Beam. Instant Solar Beam does not have to charge.
But you still have to worry about the rock types.
What rock types are coming at me?
Torterra
Feraligatr can learn a ton of rock type moves. You got
Charizard's
Torterra,
faster than Feraligatr and is packing instant Solar Beam.
So what if it's faster than Feraligatr? It still has 4 times weakness.
Instant Solar Beam and access to Roost. I can heal off rock damage.
Feraligatr goes at blinding speed. I don't see anything about blinding speed in Charizard's Pokedex entries.
Well, he has faster speed in the games, that's for sure.
But we're not talking about stat calculations.
But the Pokedex is from the games as well.
But yeah, that's
now we're getting into the philosophical discussion of
that
what
doesn't even make sense. You got to be internally consistent, Ben.
Well, with Charizard's blinding speed, he's going to outspeed your Feraligatr.
Speed? I don't see any blinding speed.
He's faster than him in the games. If you can use the game's Pokedex entries, then why can't I?
We already
why can't I use the
this
stats?
Rule. You can't do that.
If you're using the
you
Pokedex
two are arguing over what the rules are, Torterra's used Earthquake a ton and wrecked pretty much everything on this Battle Royale battlefield. Meanwhile...
No, my Charizard's flying.
You Mega Evolved him. Why now?
Okay, but then you still got Rock to worry about. Ben, you keep just going back to the same stuff.
And all your
you gotta
physical
change
damage
it up.
gets cut in half. What's that?
You gotta change it up. Rock is a huge problem for Charizard. If you're gonna go to Mega Evolution Y, then Rock is a massive problem. You gotta counter that, but you haven't successfully countered it.
But I can Will-O-Wisp
if you go to Mega
cut your
Evolution
damage
X,
in half.
then we got all the problems we were talking about the defense and the I forget what the other one was. The
losing
big
the
problem
ground
that made you switch
or
in the
losing
first
the
place.
Right, well, like I said, sticking with Y,
Ground
he can use
problems.
Will-O-Wisp, which cuts all attack power in half, making Rock not that big of a threat anymore. And he can Roost off the damage he takes from that Rock because he has access to Roost.
Interesting. Okay.
He can also Dragon Dance to boost his physical defense. Or, I'm sorry, not Dragon Dance. He can bulk up to boost his physical defense, further taking less damage from rocks, and boosting his attack higher.
But that's only physical defense. There's Rock Blast. There's lots of special rock moves. Problem?
Well, he gets a special defense boost just for Mega Evolving.
Okay, but that's not enough.
So how are you going to deal with instant Solar Beam? That's
I already told you. Feraligator's going to run away at blinding speed. Solar Beam is a
Dragon
direct
Dance, speed
channel of
boosted.
energy. Charizard,
Dragon
Feraligatr
Dance,
can evade
speed
that
boosted.
no
I can be
problem.
faster than anything.
What?
Charizard can Dragon Dance and boost his speed instantly.
But that's stat calculations. You gotta go based on the
Dragon
biology.
Dance is a thing in the games as well, or I mean in the anime as well. It's a move.
Okay, but yeah, well, if Charizard can move faster, but that doesn't mean that the Solar Beam can go any faster. I'm saying that Charizard wouldn't be able to aim the Solar Beam for Alligator fast enough.
Feraligator's going to dodge your Solar Beam.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's just an unfair assumption to make.
If Feraligator can go at blinding speed, I don't think that's an unfair assumption at all.
Well, yeah, like I said, Charizard's faster.
But you did. Okay. I know already how few star points I'm going to give you. Alex, you have anything to add?
Well, while you two are duking it out, Torterra's been killing everything else, and all that's left is Charizard and Feraligator.
Torterra's been getting hit with all the Ice Beams, all the Ice Fangs, especially from Feraligator.
Yeah, but Feraligator can't be shooting Ice Beams at Torterra while he's dodging Charizard.
Blast. Feraligator's not dodging Charizard. Because we gotta remember, there's all these Pokemon. Who knows if Charizard and Feraligator even have a chance to go at it against each other?
He's getting hit with Earthquake, which isn't super effective, but it's gonna be whittling him down.
No, but remember, we're fighting all these Pokemon against each other. It's not just Torterra, Feraligator, and Charizard. You gotta think about what's gonna get picked off earlier, what's gonna get picked off in the middle. I think Feraligator can.
Well, Charizard's the only thing in the sky, because isn't it the only starter evolution with wings? I'm not worried about your Earthquakes if I'm flying around.
There is the timer. I
can also throw... Yeah,
okay. So there's the timer.
That was about as messy as a real battle between all the starters should be.
So the debate is officially over. It is time to go around and rate each other's performance. So, Ben, how many star points do we think Alex deserves?
I don't think Torterra's that great of a fighter, but we were mostly duking it out while it was earthquaking. That didn't affect me since I'm I have wings.
Except for when you're not flying, because you're...
Well, no, but if we're going by the anime, Charizard can fly anytime. He doesn't have to be a flying type to fly.
Yeah, but then Thunder's just gonna hit him right away.
But then
Who's using Thunder?
Pikachu! Starter in yellow!
You told us that Raichu was banned from this /Pikachu.
I said Raichu.
You specifically told us in the staff chat that he was not involved.
Pikachu's involved.
I mean, plus there are other starters.
I'm gonna give Alex 7 points. Okay. I think he made a pretty solid argument for Torterra.
Okay. I'm gonna give 6.
Yeah,
same here. I think Torterra didn't face a whole lot of counter argument, so I don't think that Alex was able to get in the counter arguments that would bump it up from a more average score like 6. But at least for the opening statements, especially, I think yeah.
Yeah, Torterra was really just sitting there doing Earthquake while you guys were fighting. Didn't have a chance to jump in.
All right, Alex, what do we think Ben deserves?
Ben had a lot of counter arguments prepared in advance.
Yeah.
It seems. I will give Ben a 9.
Ooh, well done.
What? It'll be balanced out by the terrible score Colin's giving you.
I'm gonna give Ben 3. Because I think that though you had a good sort of core principle, I don't think you did a good enough job changing your strategy when you're posed with different kinds of challenges. You kept switching between, well, I could do X, or then I could do Mega Charizard Y, but if Y has a problem, I can do X. That doesn't fly with me. And then me.
So, Colin, you think you needed to go balls deep on one or the other?
Yeah. Or just because I think a lot of the arguments you presented sort of contradicted each other from one to the other. So,
I disagree, but
yeah, that's the point. So me, how many star points do you think I get?
Who are you asking?
Both of you.
I'll give you 7.
Okay.
You had a good sort of idea behind what you were going to do with Feraligator, but I didn't think it was borne out in the actual Battle Royale.
I like Feraligator as an attacker, but I thought your argument hinged too much on a sort of metaphorical phrase that doesn't really mean it much. I don't think you could just say, well, he's fast, so that means no attacks can hit him. So I think you could have presented a better argument.
I was telling you that Solar Beam is a concentrated beam of energy. He can just run away from that. Something more like Earthquake.
It's a large beam of energy, though, and there was no charge times. But whatever. The point is, I didn't find that argument compelling at all.
Or Frenzy Plant. So you're going to have to get the evasion out of the way. We can't go back into the discussion.
Well, I'm not trying to. I'm trying to say my thing.
Oh, go ahead.
So I'm going to say a 4 just because I didn't figure you presented very many arguments for Feraligator outside of that, and I didn't find it to be a compelling argument. But Feraligator itself is pretty deadly Pokemon.
Hello everybody, thank you for listening to this Nintendo Week clip NWC. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to us here on YouTube for more highlights and discussion videos from Nintendo Week podcast, or subscribe to us on iTunes for weekly breakdowns of all your Nintendo news, discussion segments on subjects, games, and more, and tons of other features. Thanks for listening, and we will see you tomorrow with another NWC.